let's move on now. And should all asylum seekers be given a free bus pass? 0207 862 2222 is the number to give us a call and let us know what you think about this. So Oxfordshire County Council have teamed up with a local asylum charity and bus companies to provide free travel for asylum seekers living in Oxford. Now, they say it will help them get to appointments, build confidence through being able to use the public transport system. They also say that it will help them get a job once they are allowed to work. Other passengers, though, have to pay up to £4.50 a day to use those buses. And at the moment, asylum seekers get £50 a week from the government to help with food, toiletries, clothing and travel. And it's important to say less than £9 if they are living in a hotel where the meals are already provided. So that does reduce quite considerably then. So should this scheme be rolled out nationwide? We're talking about free bus travel. What do you think, Bobby?
So I think if we've got the asylum seekers here, I'd rather them be integrated into our society again, whether it's learning English, being able to participate in our society. And if that means we need to give them bus passes initially as a way so we can integrate them into society, I'm all for it, because sometimes we demonise asylum seekers, saying, oh, there's other types of people, we'll put them in the corner, put them away from us. But actually, if we integrate them, make them part of our communities, and by giving them bus passes, they can be, actually we'll see they're almost regular, not almost, they're regular people just like us, but just different, they come from different cultures, different customs. But I think the more we can integrate them, and if bus passes are a way of doing that, I'm all for it.
And if you are an asylum seeker and you're looking to set up a life here, you want to be able to speak English, what better way than getting out into the town centre, speaking to the local people and practising?
Absolutely not. I completely disagree on this one. Look, an asylum seeker, they may be someone from a very persecuted country, and once they're processed and their application is confirmed, absolutely I agree, integrate people properly. But at the moment, so many people who are watching now may be struggling with bills. They have to pay their bus fares. They have to pay for everything. People are waiting for a GP appointment, and then there's asylum seekers in a local hotel, and they're getting private medicine. There is a stage where I think the country looks like a soft touch. People are coming to this country and think Britain is a land of milk and honey. They can disappear. There's no ID cards. And now this is another benefit that we are presenting. And I think taxpayers are rightly at the limit of what they're willing to afford. We're a generous country, but I think this is taking the mickey, to be honest.
I suppose the counter-argument to that is, what else do you want these individuals to do? If they've come over here from absolute persecution and they are granted asylum in the future, so they've got that waiting time, they're stuck in a room, a hotel, a house, whatever it is, they've got £9.50 to spend a week. Is it £9.50 or just £9 to spend a week? It would cost them £4.50 a day on bus travel. Yeah. That's for one day. You're really isolating those individuals to one space when we are taking so long to process applications at the moment. They could be here for years.
That is the issue, though. The application process is just taking far too long. We need to sort that out. Everything else is secondary, because the system needs to know that it really isn't a good life for people to have in the interim, and that should be communicated to the world.
If people are coming as legitimate asylum seekers, again, there's a separate...
Many aren't, though. Many aren't.
But the majority are granted asylum in this country. So either the system is wrong and it's allowing too many people to stay here, or the majority of people are fleeing absolute persecution and horrible situations, in which case, would we not want to be a country that's a soft touch? Would we less soft touch, more soft place to fall?
Yeah, I don't think. I think we're a country that spends much more than the average on overseas aid. We welcome people, from Ukraine into our homes. We're a good country, but I think it does matter if people who are here temporarily are getting more benefits than people who are here permanently.
I don't think £50 a week are more benefits than the average person in this country.
You've got to include in-kind benefits as well, like private medical care, that people get free accommodation. It adds up.
But people are fed up in this country. Taxpayers are fed up when they're struggling to get dental appointments. They're struggling to just a GP's appointments. That individuals that are coming into this country, many of which aren't going to be allowed to stay, are getting access to all these benefits more rapidly and easily.
See, I think, yeah, we do need to have these conversations about migration. Everyone, whether you're on the left or centre or right, we all agree that actually migration is one of the big issues that's been impacting democratic votes across the world, you know, the US, in Central Europe. So it's something that everyone wants to discuss. But I think we shouldn't forget that Britain, while economically it's challenging, we are still one of the richest countries in the world. And if we can't provide safe harbour to those who are, again, genuinely seeking asylum from persecution, if they're coming to this country, we should make sure we look after them. But again, there's a separate conversation about whether our system is working or broken. But the ones that we do accept and are genuinely asylum seekers, I think we should look after them properly.
But people are losing their winter fuel allowance. You know, pensioners who can't afford to heat their homes properly this winter, they watch something like this and they think, I've lived in this country all my life, I've served this country, and somehow people who have just arrived here and may not have a confirmed application are getting things I can't. And it's being fair to everyone, not just a certain group, is why I think our society is divided. There is a perception that certain people are more important to government than others. Okay. And that's a dangerous place for a democracy to be.
Well, let's go to the calls and speak to Maria from Manchester. What's your view when it comes to free bus passes for asylum seekers? They're doing it in Oxford. Do you think this is a good idea?
It's not that it's unfair. I find the whole system unfair because, like, I've got neighbours that are on, like, the sick, as you call it, and they're getting free bus passes and they don't go anywhere.
Well, then it's not putting any pressure on the public services. Then it just kind of is a moot point. It doesn't matter, does it? If they're not using it, they're not taking up a seat, why does it matter?
Yeah, but it matters to me because I want to be able to use a bus or a tram.
And do you work, Maria?
No, at the minute I don't.
Okay.
And that's the problem I'm finding is, like, you're having to beg, literally, the job centre for free bus passes.
Okay, but I suppose the difference then, and I don't make the decisions on who gets what, but there is always arguments about some people are getting more and some people can fiddle the system better than others. But if you are unwell, presumably you have to get to more doctor's appointments, you have to, and it's a struggle for you to be mobile. I don't know anything about any of your neighbours, so let's not go into detail, but I'm presuming that's the theory behind it. Whereas you yourself are presumably quite mobile, Maria, and are able to...
Absolutely, yeah. I'm mobile enough, but I can't afford the buses and I can't afford the trams. And it really makes me upset when people get them and it's not even about migrants, it's about, like, normal people, like... Sorry, I'm just getting upset. I don't mean to get upset. It's just really...
It's a struggle. I can hear in your voice you are struggling. You're struggling financially. And so when you hear other people are getting things for free that you would really benefit from. And I wonder maybe that's a suggestion that our benefit system doesn't go far enough then to help everybody. Maybe it's free bus passes for everyone.
I don't understand why, like, people that are not well to go out and about and they don't, but they get all these free bus passes.
I think, Maria, it's probably the thought pattern behind it is probably to help them get to doctor's appointments and those sorts of things. But as I said before, if they're not using it, they're not taking up a seat, it probably doesn't have as big an impact on the system. But Maria, thank you very much for your call and thanks for sharing such a passionate call. Naomi from London, when it comes to asylum seekers and offering them free bus passes, does that leave you feeling good or angry?
No, do you know what? It doesn't leave me feeling either way, to be honest. I think they should get them. We have asylum seekers who are stopped from working, who are kept in temporary accommodation, God knows where, out in the sticks and everything else. It's like the guy on the right talking about, oh, we're a poor country. Well, no, we're not a poor country. We're like the sixth richest country in the world. And we've got people struggling. People are struggling. But you know what? Don't get down on those that are struggling even more and try to make it even harder for them. Look at the people up above who don't pay taxes, who take advantage of all our tax system and everything else. You want to make it harder for asylum seekers who've already had the gumption to be able to, to pick themselves up and to move from persecution, from war-torn countries, from, in desperation. And when they arrive there, we're going to make it really, really hard for you. We're going to be really inhospitable so that we will not help you at all to make life as difficult as possible for you. So you decide to go back. They've got nowhere to go back to.
Okay, Naomi, you've covered a lot of ground there, so let me try and break it down. First of all, I think you're referring to Tim. I don't think you said that the country was a poor country, did you?
Certain people in the country are poor.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
But Naomi brings up a great point. If you're an asylum seeker in this country, until your papers have been processed, you can't work.
No.
So you can't earn any money. So you're completely at the mercy of what the government is going to provide you. Now, if you're staying at one of these hotels, you're getting £9 a week. That's very little if you want to do anything at all or contribute to society. Even if you wanted to volunteer at a soup kitchen or something like that, which I imagine they should be allowed to do, you wouldn't be able to because you couldn't afford the transport. Why don't we just allow them to work then, Tim?
Look, I think once you're a full member of society, of course you should, be taking responsibility and working. But imagine, turning it around the question, there are people in this country who do struggle to find work already. And if
we've spoken to one, it's Maria, and she's struggling to pay for her bus pass.
Yeah, but if they see people who aren't yet confirmed citizens taking a job which they think, that could be mine, I think it is a balance between looking after the asylum seeker and not setting up like a rival workforce.
Do you appreciate, Naomi, that actually the way things are panning out at the moment, you get very upset people like Maria, who we spoke to earlier, when she hears that the asylum seekers and people on sickness benefits and lots of other benefits are getting free travel and she can't.
To get a free bus pass, I'm assuming you'd have to go through a rigorous process. They're not just giving them out like lollipops. First of all, okay? And as for the guy saying, they're going to take jobs that we could be taking, but clearly people aren't taking those jobs because, for example, they're on sick pay. It's absolutely absurd. Okay, you could give them as a 3-month travel card, for example. You could put time limits on them. They could be off-peak travel only. There are measures you could put in to cost us less in that respect. But just to say, well, you know what, Maria doesn't get benefits, she doesn't have a job, and she doesn't get a bus pass. So what? Then, as Tim was saying, there are plenty of jobs. Go out there and get a job.
All right, Naomi.
But these people cannot get jobs. We prevent them actively from getting jobs, and then we also want to stop them from moving around. And then we say, look, they don't integrate.
Fair point. Naomi, thank you very much. Sorry, there's a fly in the studio. Thank you very much for your call. We are going to have to end it there and go to the break.